Well, hello again from central Minnesota. We're getting ready to go to a race finally. About time, huh? We're just gonna get ready here. Preparation is the key, correct? The plan is today we're just gonna throw some new oil in it and set the valve lash and check it all over, and then we're gonna throw it on the trailer and bring it up to Brainerd. Brainerd is having a it's the first race of the Muscle Car Series. It's this weekend. It's called Streetcar Shootout. I've been going to it for, well, ever since they started it almost. It's newest race in the series. It's part of the Muscle Car Series that they do season points on all year long. It's not a big deal. I like the Muscle Car Series because it's not very competitive. It's getting worse, but it's a lot of guys like me with cool muscle cars that just kind of build their own stuff in their own garage at home, and the Muscle Car Series is fun. They do have some outlaw cars, like Pro Mods, mixed in. I don't know why, when they call it the Streetcar Series, why they have those, but they're at every Muscle Car Series race. I guess it brings in spectators, but I never see any spectators there just to watch. Most of the people I see in the stands, which are very few, are families of other guys like me, racers and stuff. So anyway, yeah, they got those Pro Mod cars. There's 12 classes. There's Outlaw, Pro Outlaw, 660 Outlaw, which is an 8th mile class. Then they have which is really cool, now we're into the real street cars, Real Street. They have Real Street Unlimited, which is power adder cars. They have Real Street Natural, is what I used to think about running, but my car is probably too slow. And they have that, you know, those are all heads-up races. Otherwise, everyone around here, the racing scene in Minnesota isn't much. I mean, there's one quarter-mile track in the whole state. Thank God I only live an hour south of there. But and they do all NHRA classes. You know, this muscle car weekend is kind of special for me because they mix in some stuff other than the NHRA stuff, you know, the bracket weekends. But they do a bracket series. Usually I enter 2 classes up there. I enter Strip Eliminator 1. They have 1 and 2, and 2 is 1150 cars and slower. 1 is 1150 cars and faster. And then they have, and I was season points leader, or runner-up, I should say, 2 years in a row, year before last and the year before that, in SE1, the fast bracket class. And then they have index racing, which is really fun because that's head-to-head, but you're still on an index, you know what I mean? You can go too fast. And the problem with Brainerd for me is they're really strict. I mean, I understand totally why they have to follow NHRA criteria, but I mean, my car is borderline, and I refuse to put the full cage in it because someday I'm going to put it back to bone, you know, street trim that correct everything. I'm going to cut that little hoop out of there that I've got in there now and make it right again someday. And Corvette, the cockpit is just so tight. When you put a 850 cage in there, a 10-point cage, you pretty much, I've seen guys do it the other way, but it's really awkward and cumbersome. But the way I would do it was I'd go down the A-pillars and through the dash, and I just don't want to do that to this car. Plus, it's a convertible car. Right now, the way it is, it looks stupid with the top off because I've got that dumb roll bar sticking up. But, you know, I wanted to go faster than 1150, and it is what it is, and it'll cut out easy. I've got it really simple the way I put the roll bar in. I can get it back out of there easy, but I wouldn't be able to get it back out if it was a 10-point. I mean, would have the car all messed up for doing anything but drag racing. So that is the reason. You know, a lot of people wonder why I tiptoe around that, because I'm only allowed to go 10.0 or slower, or 135 miles an hour or slower, or at Brainerd 1/100th of a second too fast, and I'm done for the weekend. They have sent me home before on a Friday of a 3-day race. So, you know, I'm always tiptoeing around that deal there. So I'm on an index anyway, you know, because of my safety equipment. I can't give it all she's got. And so usually I run either 10.0 or 1050 index class, depending on how the competition looks in each class, which one is easier. And then I run like I'll dial a 10.05 and just run brackets, you know. And I've been going some rounds in the bracket, the fast bracket, SE1. It's really fun stuff. I'll bring you guys up there with me. Problem I'm going to have, though, is I'm by myself again. I'm kind of a loner, you know. I've always kind of, I don't know if I'm fiercely independent or what, but I really need a wingman or a sidekick. You know, I don't have anybody to run the camera is my point I'm making. I'm going to stick a GoPro on my roll bar. I'll bring you guys with, and maybe my wife will show up and do some cell phone footage for me again. Maybe I'll get some footage from someone else or something, maybe some of my opponents. But it's going to be hard to drive the car and run the camera at the same time. But I'll bring you guys up there with me, and I'll do the best I can. Got this old open trailer I've been using. I bought this trailer new in 1993. I bought this thing. And it's been good because I use it once or twice a month for my job, you know, for the body shop. I haul repairables home from downtown St. Paul in the middle of the winter with this rig right here. I get some really strange looks going down 35E in the middle of January when it's 20 below with this rig. But this trailer has done so much work for me. It's just been the best piece of work equipment I've ever owned. You know, I've maintained it. I've replaced both axles over the years, replaced the deck once, replaced the fenders twice. I think I've had probably 100 different mismatched tires on it over the years. Replaced the wiring, all the tail lights, you know, the jack tongue, you know, everything. I maintain it, but I mean, man, what a great old trailer, you know. And it's kind of like me. It's seen its better days, but it's just like everything around here. It works just good enough to get the job done, and that's about it, you know. It's kind of fun to pull into the track with this rig. Those two gouges there, I've got a great story. Fast forward if you're not ready for a long, boring story, but you probably already have fast forwarded. But those two gouges are actually from the header mufflers that I have on the Corvette. Sometimes I just stick a short header muffler on a header. And I had a transmission in the car for a long time. It was called, we called it my Dick Trickle transmission because it was a Dick Trickle transmission. It was built by a guy named Russ Ebert, who was Dick Trickle's crew chief when he did the short grate transmission. But it had one little problem. The park prowl, it was kind of a hit and miss, you know what I mean? Sometimes it would hold, sometimes it wasn't. And we had the car up on the trailer. We had the trailer behind the motorhome, and the motorhome was sitting in the sun. There was a tree about 15 feet ahead that we were going to pull under for shade, and the car was not tied down. And I'm like, well, it's in park, you know, I mean, I should be able to pull ahead 15 feet. I got in the motorhome, I pulled ahead, and all of a sudden the whole motorhome shook, boom, and I knew what had happened. The car was half on and half off the trailer, and I looked around to make sure no one in the pit's seen, you know, and of course a few people did, and it was embarrassing as all hell. But that was the deal there. The old Dick Trickle tranny failed me, and she fell off the trailer and the exhaust dug in. I got a million stories like that. I mean, Just told everybody, you know, those header mufflers hung down too far anyway. We needed to adjust those, so now they're bent up the way they're supposed to be. You know, I did a photo shoot with Super Chevy. I don't know, 6 years ago. You can go online and find it. It's look up 71 Corvette runs 9s, or Ultimate Sleeper, I think the article was called. But I didn't have time to put the right exhaust on it for that photo shoot, and I had those ugly header mufflers on there at that point, and that was before it did that on the trailer, so they hung down. Every time I look at those photos from that shoot, I'm like, oh man, those header mufflers. You know, the car looks great, except I just had the wrong ugly mufflers hanging down on it for that shoot. But anyway, if you get a chance, look that up. It's Super Chevy. You can just put it in your Google machine and it'll come up. It's Ultimate Sleeper, or just put up 71 Corvette runs 9s or something. There's another really cool bang shift article on it too, but it's all about the first time I got thrown out of the track for going too fast. But the article is really neat. I mean, the guy, it was Hot Rod Magazine, same editors, you know, they own all those magazines. They did a really nice piece on my family and on the car. I was really grateful and appreciative for them doing that for me. But that was quite a while ago. But anyway, we're going to set the valve lash here quick and go over some things and throw some oil, some fresh oil in it. And sometimes I get to the track, I make about 5 passes, and then I'm like, oh, maybe I should check the oil. But this time we're actually going to change on it. And then we'll fire it up and stick it on the trailer, and we'll head up there and have some fun.